This is a very interesting statement from the President of the United States that just made a post about QAnon.
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that.
Nothing? Really? As Donald Trump just had the internet ablaze with rumors and conspiracy theories as he posted this on his official Truth social media account. Now, what does this mean? As in his left hand, he now has Q+, as Alex Jones came out and actually talked about some wild stuff related to this, which allegedly came from the Trump administration that was meeting with him, discussing this at his own house, as then allegedly later it was taken over by the intel agencies. What in the world's going on here as the QAnon phase is once again ablaze throughout the internet, as all of those old accounts that predicted, RFK coming back, Hillary being in Gitmo, thousands of arrests, deep state, 4D, underwater, backgammon, chest operations, all of those things. We're going through it again. We're going to talk about this conspiracy. We're going to go deep down the rabbit hole, especially with some of the very incredible claims being made by Alex Jones here, as this QAnon thing has always been something that we talked about in a very critical way from the very beginning of this. And it looks like now we were, in hindsight, absolutely right about it. We had a lot of people in our comment section be like, no, you're a shill. No, how dare you not believe in anything from these QAnon random numbers and drops, these Q drops. I even had personal friends of mine that were very affected by this and have seemed to lose all type of ability to critically think here. As now we look back on it, especially with the president's latest post, and I think there's some things to really connect the dots on. If you appreciate these type of videos, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us here on this particular platform. As now, Donald Trump on Truth Social just reposted this from Twitter, from Florin Truth, that posted, quote, "The world will soon understand." Donald Trump looking above the world that looks like it's on fire with a Q+ symbol in his left hand. Underneath it, it says, "Nothing can change what is coming." Again, top tier level boomer slop. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Now, the Trump administration does post a lot of facetious, a lot of funny, a lot of kind of ridiculous, a lot of crazy things of him in the new renovated Gaza with a golden statue of him with beachfront, amazing, super sky-rise towers. They post a lot of ridiculous stuff and a lot of memes and a lot of things from their supporters. It's pretty clear the President of the United States did not make this, but him posting this has definitely everyone wondering, does he know what he is posting here? Or is this just a mishap? Is this just a mistake? Or is this supposed to just be another kind of very weird kind of signal that's supposed to obfuscate some of the shortfallings of his administration? And there are some shortfallings. There are some things that haven't been done, haven't been achieved, that were promised to us, that I think are important to talk about. As when we look back at QAnon, QAnon was kind of this perfect vessel for Donald Trump to use in a way to kind of excuse his biggest failures. Whenever he did something, everyone in the QAnon community, no. But Q says 587-345, Bible book of Revelation 13, 16, underneath this specific code and book and reference and extrapolation and this mathematical code, and when you add up all these numbers, it leads to... And I'm like, get to the point. What are you trying to say here? Trump did no wrong. He can't tell you exactly what's going on, but him hiring John Bolton is good because. And I'm like, 4D, underwater, the backgammon, the book. Listen, there's a code, and I'm like, what are you talking? Listen. There's satellites. They uploaded all the data to the satellite. I remember talking to one of these people who's a big time commentator at the time at the Tim Caspini compound. And he's like, no, listen, there's a German satellite. There's a German satellite. And I'm like, dude, what are you even talking about? They're like, no. January 6th. Oh, no, it's secret. It's all secret. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be hunky-dory. Everything's being taken care of. I don't have to get involved in politics because the QAnon people gave me this code. Look at the code. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And it was frustrating because I was like, listen, I don't see anything here. When the intel agencies came out and said, Russia colluded with Trump, I'm like, that's bullcrap. Show me the evidence. And they didn't have any evidence. I was like, QAnon people, show me the evidence. And they're like, we don't have any. I'm like, okay, you don't have any. You have just a random person posting on 4chan or 8chan. Random person posting and then telling you that everything's going to be hunky-dory. Don't worry. Don't get involved. You don't need to concern yourself with politics because Daddy Trump and the secret intelligence agencies behind the scenes have your back. And Hillary's in Gitmo. 1,000 government agents are arrested. Kennedy's coming back. You think he's not alive? He is. That plane crash was all fake. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Now, Alex had some very interesting things to say about this, as a lot of people are like, wait, no way did Trump just actually post this. Now, listen, when you post, and again, here we go. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, no. Trump posted this. He contained 2 exact Q slogans in his hand. Nothing could stop what's coming. It's the military. Where did you get the military from? The world will soon understand. Yes, it's all going to be good. Come on, folks. Come on. Listen, I want to play this Alex Jones clip because I think he really gave us some very interesting insights to how all of this kind of transpired and played out. Before we play that, we wanted to tell you about LukeUnfiltered.com. If you appreciate us keeping it real throughout the years, subscribe. We're also doing Arrange Day. Just found out today a bunch of people signed up. Very limited spots, single-digit spots, less than 10 spots available for you guys. And again, I see all these people who are dealing with extraordinary type of circumstances. They got people showing up to their homes. They get their. I'm like, look, you got to learn how to be capable of defending yourself against an attacker, against an intruder. Having the ability, 1, wards off these people energetically, spiritually, but 2, puts you in a peace of mind where you know you can't be a victim. And that's what I like to preach. I like to talk about, hey, stop believing in random codes and the symbols posted by anonymous people that tell you, don't get involved, everything's hunky-dory. I say take personal responsibility and actually look at the facts here and actually try to get some evidence here and then come to a logical conclusion based off facts and evidence. That's what I've been preaching here for an extremely long time. And if you appreciate that, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course a lot of people have extrapolated and have been a part of PSYOPs, whether they like it or not. We, I believe, have, I think, one of the squeakiest, cleanest records as independent media for not falling for nonsense and bullcrap and selling you lies. We have been on top of it, and we preach personal responsibility. You want to support us by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. A lot of other influencers are like, buy this random mysterious chemical, or buy booze, or buy gambling. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? We have a responsibility as independent media. And plus, energetically, you want to make sure you provide good things. I want to provide the best things, and that's why I created LukeUnfiltered.com. 13 plus years of videos specifically centered around making you the strongest, most amazing version of yourself. Plus, Arrange Day, September 20th, supply your ability to be a part of it, dwindling down, limited spots. So sign up while the spots are still available on LukeUnfiltered.com. Now, let's get back to Alex Jones here, since he really had a lot of important things to say about this. This is what he had to say.
Trump writes his own tweets, but the true social stuff, a lot of the memes, he doesn't. So when I saw this today, the world will soon understand nothing can stop what is coming. And in his hand is Q+. Q+ is in the Q lore, starts in 2017. That's the Q leader, or Trump. So did Trump post this? I don't know. Is Trump saying he's Q? No. Q was created Because when the WikiLeaks came out and people like myself and others posted it and Drudge posted it about the spirit cooking and John Podesta, there was a discussion, I wasn't in on it at that time, about how do we anonymously put all this stuff out. So as soon as Trump got inaugurated, they're like, hey, we're setting this thing up. We're going to do these little Q drops and shots at the White House on Air Force One, added credibility. And then later they come down like, hey, we want you to get involved. And I said, listen, my issue is just like anonymous. You can have somebody that's good putting on a Guy Fawkes mask saying things were anonymous, but the general public thinks it's like a real thing, one big conglomerate. I said, how are you going to stop stuff and disinfo and then manipulating people thinking they're actually, part of this thing? It's very esoteric. It's very Gnostic. I said, I think it's going to go sideways, but I'll support the stuff you guys push that I think isn't bad. And then later, like, oh, you're right. 6 months later, they got taken away and too much disinfo. And
well, if you look at Alex in his past year, there was numerous incidences where he was pushing and promoting the Q stuff. Let's just be honest with ourselves. He was like, we're on the phone with Q. I'm like, come on. I didn't like that personally myself here. But now we're getting a backdrop of exactly what happened here, which is some important context, which Alex even admitted, like, yeah, I supported it in the beginning. And then I kind of warned them that I was going to be taken over, and then it was taken over. I want to know who took it over. I want to know who's responsible. And overall, just a bad way to do this. I mean, anonymously releasing, a lot of this stuff. I mean, we saw what happened to WikiLeaks, right? We saw what happened to Julian Assange. We saw what happened to Edward Snowden. We saw what happened to a lot of the whistleblowers within our mainline society that were extremely punished. If QAnon was supposed to be a way to have like their own kind of WikiLeaks, okay, that's understandable. But then it totally got out of hand and out of control to the point where the most craziest, insane people were just using it as a hub and a manufacturing hub for more crazy and insane people.
Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Please don't tell anybody about it.
Please don't tell anybody about it. Who was doing that? Who was at your house? I want to know.
Some people in the White House had the idea for it.
Some people in the White House had the idea for it. Now, were they just trying to say, okay, listen, we need WikiLeaks, but we can't have a public face of WikiLeaks. We need someone else to do this. And there were some kind of weird photos from like Air Force One that were like, oh, wow, this is legit. So that's true. But I would say overall, the whole QAnon thing, extremely net negative. It created tremendous amounts of brain rot, boomer slop that just had people literally not get active, not get engaged, not care about the actual legitimate things happening around. But they set them in this weird fairy tale land where everything was just taken care of. Everything was great. I would argue it might have even cost Trump the election in 2020. When we look back at it, you had all these people. You had the QAnon shaman inside the Capitol. There were really like smart, credible people that were just hijacked. Their brains were hijacked from all of this, which leads to their credibility going down. I remember I was dating a girl and she was like, "Oh, this QAnon stuff is there." I'm like, "Okay, let's work this through here, honey. Let's work this through. Let's try to." He's like, "No, Kennedy's coming back. He didn't really pass away in that aircraft. He's going to help put Clinton in jail." I'm like, man. But listen, she was great in the sack. But anyway.
And they tried to recruit me into it, and I made the obvious point at my house meeting with them.
Now, this is the important, at my house meeting with them. I want to know, because I think it had an absolute negative impact on everybody. Why is Trump still promoting it now? Or is he not knowing what he's promoting? I mean, I don't know. He posts a lot. He posts a lot of crazy, ridiculous stuff. But when it comes to like clearly him having a Q plus thing here and clearly him making some like weird kind of gestures and references through it throughout his career, this is just weird. This is just weird. I don't understand unless, because again, when you go to the QAnon thing, it excused a lot of the big, horrible maneuvers that Trump made. It's Trump now actually playing 4D chess and saying, I'll just get a portion of my population to really believe that there's some really QAnon stuff. Because if you remember the QAnon stuff, it was like, there's high-level child predators within the government. They're in jail now. I'm like, they are? Really? I never heard about this. I don't know anything about this. So Is this another way to excuse the failings of this administration and their handling of the Epstein saga, which they failed tremendously on and still haven't legitimately given us any kind of answers or conclusions to what in the world was really going on here? What's going on here? I want to know. And as of right now, we still do not know. But listen, Alex holds lots of the keys here, and him giving us these tidbits of information, I think, is more important than ever.
In 2017, that it's like anonymous. When you just have somebody wearing a Guy Fawkes mask and a black hood, and then they go, oh, this represents anonymous, like it's this magic army, and then it could be anybody. Some of the messages are good groups, some of the messages are bad groups. And that was my issue with it. And when I said, I don't think this is a good idea.
Smart. But we have to remember, Alex went along with it.
Now,
and then he's now being accused of hijacking it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What, dude, none of the predictions came true.
But I was told, and I've never even asked Trump about this. I'll ask him sometime. He didn't know about it. But it was some senior people, and I know because they told me about it. And then it created this whole other cottage industry of delusion and really fake news.
That I would say was extremely detrimental to the discourse. Tucker Carlson made some very interesting comments, again, hinting that he knows a lot more than he's actually being told. But now all these QAnon accounts are like, Alex tried to hijack the Q movement. And there is video 7 years ago of Alex and Jerome Corsi talking about how QAnon has been, quote, completely compromised. So, give credit where credit is due here. There's some other like 4D chess stuff type of moves here, especially about Operation Warp Speed that I want to talk about here in a little bit. But I thought Tucker Carlson's comments were also very important in light of this type of virtue signal from Donald Trump about QAnon.
What was QAnon?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'd be listening to something and it would have useful information, and all of a sudden then it would show the whole, and here's Trump and his generals are going to save the world.
No, I
oh,
agree.
For Christ's sakes.
But the interesting, I never knew anything about QAnon. I never paid any attention at all. I have a good friend who I really admire, is much smarter than I am, who, because he is smarter than I am, took like a year to look into QAnon.
What did he get?
I don't fully understand it, but here's what I understand.
From my understanding, if you look at the kind of bigger picture, taking a step back, it was a way of excusing Donald Trump's mistakes and bad moves and having his fervent supporters believe that it was some kind of 4D chess move. All right? Okay? It might have started in an original idea of, hey, let's be our own anonymous, let's be our own WikiLeaks, let's release all this information. That might have been a good cause and an idea. But essentially, when we take a big step back, it allowed Donald Trump to commit some of the most egregious actions of his presidential career. And it was excused. That's the long picture. That's the big picture from my perspective here.
Is that, some of the predictions in QAnon came true. I mean, it's a sophisticated thing. It's not just...
Oh, I think it's a bunch of ex-spooks.
For sure. It's not a, bunch of college kids on...
No.
4chan or whatever they claim it was.
These are guys who are probably pissed that the system went bad.
And it's unclear, who was behind it. I have some theories, people I know actually, but I don't know if they're true. What is obvious to me is that it's a control mechanism, trying to siphon off some of that energy and move it in a
siphoning off the energy. That's
less dangerous direction.
Right.
Yeah, since there was a lot of people who were saying, hey, we want accountability. Hey, we want justice. And a lot of those people were just placated. A lot of those people were just, oh, no, Trump and his military generals, they have it all under control. Everything's fine. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to worry about anything. It's all a part of the plan. Trust the plan. And I was like, listen, I've been in this movement for so long. I don't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody unless you actually see some actual proof and evidence. Where's the proof and evidence? The proof is in the pudding there. We didn't get any of that.
We talk about it on air, and I was separately told this by QAnon. I'm going to say again, I've talked to QAnon. There's only about 5-6 people that have actually been posting. I've talked to QAnon. And they're saying QAnon is no longer QAnon. So the narrative being put out by QAnon before was one of hope and truth.
This is 7 years ago, by the way. That was released here. As they talk about how QAnon has been, quote, completely compromised.
And very, very positive. Now it's one of infighting and destruction. So I just think we should recap what's happened, get into the latest, and then basically stick a fork in the avatar of QAnon. It is now an overrun disinformation fount, Dr. Jerome Corsi.
And then there was a whole bunch of QAnon stuff that was attacking people within the movement, saying, oh, no, he's really a double agent. And I'm like, what? I'm like, And I'm like, you just kind of look in hindsight in all of this, and now it all just starts to make sense. It all starts to kind of come together. And now Donald Trump kind of rehashing it really makes you wonder, what in the world's going on here? This says there's some very interesting conversations, specifically about Operation Warp Speed. I want to get into this. I'm going to do another video where I'm going to get deeper down the rabbit hole into this, as Bill Gates has some very weird type of predictions, as he was just meeting with Donald Trump inside of the White House. And clearly, there's still a lot of things that do deserve more attention, and sadly, there's not enough of it. So subscribe, click the notification button. Thank you so much for signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. See you on the range, September 20th. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is our third time doing this. Beautiful and amazing human beings. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.